Hello and welcome to the first of a series of videos where we're going to go through using Flora of the Pacific Northwest by Hitchcock and Cronquist. We're using the updated version. If you have the older version, most of what we say here is going to work almost exactly the same, and I can walk you through that. These are things that you'll need, of course, for using Hitchcock and Cronquist. You'll need a hand loop, and I use this one. It's a 3-lens loop that I picked up a long time ago, and it has a 20x magnifier on it, but you should be able to get away with a 5 or a 10x magnifier for almost everything we do together. So I've got different size magnifiers here. This is just the 5x, and so we'll be using that to zoom in and look at individual features, individual components of flowers and that sort of thing. So let's get started working with the manual. Okay, so the first thing to know about this manual is that as you open it up, I'm going to flip to page. The introduction is important to read, and I really suggest you read it. There are a couple other things that are really important to focus on right off the bat. The first comes here on page XXI. The abbreviations and symbols section of this is really important to focus on, because Hitchcock and Cronquist, because it's supposed to be a field manual, is filled with abbreviations in the language, and you're going to have to look those up. You're not always going to know exactly what each abbreviation stands for, and going to this abbreviation section will allow you to figure out what each abbreviation means. But second, you're going to have words that you are not totally familiar with, and so for that, we're going to have to flip to the next section, past the abbreviations. Here, which is the glossary. So the glossary is going to be really, really important. So every good key has a good glossary, and I think the word we were just looking for was gamopetalous, and it turns out that's at the bottom of this page here. Gamopetalous, with petals connate at least towards the base. Also sympatalous, so that just refers to our individual petals. Turns out that we have a plant here that is gamopetalous that we can focus on. Let's see if it comes up here. This is a common plant right now in your neighborhoods around Olympia and in most weedy spots all around North America. And if you zoom in here, you can see that each of these flowers consists of a single flower, a single set of petals, which are actually combined. If I reach in there, and forgive me as I pull this off here, I'm going to zoom out here. So loves me not, if I pull that off, you can see that instead of being multiple petals, the flower is actually composed of one single petal that's combined. See the stamens in the very top there are brown, and we can look for the other flower parts too. This is the definition of gamopetalous, gamo meaning fused petals. Okay, but say we don't know what this plant is and we need to start with the key. The way to use any technical key is to start with the family key, a key to families. I'm flipping pages here. I've gotten to the main entrance. And then after the main title here, so all the introduction material and glossaries are done, I flip to the artificial key to vascular plant families of our region. Now, the artificial key is a really important one to know about. In the older version of Hitchcock and Cronquist, there was an artificial and there was a technical key, or a taxonomic key. We want the artificial key, and the reason that it's artificial is that it's going to put together groups that are morphologically similar, even if they come from multiple evolutionary lineages. And so it doesn't care about the evolutionary history, but it cares about the most efficient way to key things out. So for example, our first couplet, 1A, plants aquatic, 1B, plants terrestrial. If I'm working with this plant here that we started with, this is a terrestrial plant. There are my roots, my bottom leaves. You can see the stem fairly clearly, and we can see the flowers. So we know that we're dealing with a terrestrial plant. We don't have to go with couplet 1. We'll go to couplet B, plants terrestrial. In the next segment, I'll take you through keying out that individual plant all the way from the family key all the way to the family it belongs in. So once again, to read this key, there are couplets, 1A and 1B, to go together. You choose the adventure that's best for you, whichever description matches what you're looking for best. It's important to read the entire couplet. Sometimes Hitchcock likes to have couplets that say none of the above in the second couplet, or they'll have things that are very specific in one of the couplets and not the other. So it's important that you read the entire couplet. You'll notice that this family key is keying things into groups, and you can read those groups. Those groups will pop up individually on the next pages. So for example, group 1, this is the key to aquatic plants, okay, which we're not dealing with, but one of our other groups is going to be the key we are dealing with.